here because of campaign. Kono kopa the chono san e chimbra. I said, why ase? Eba ye shishi bro ni. Why ma tie me? Last week, he said, how to manage a mother-in-law, not to deal with the mother-in-law. And I made it clear to you, sir, we are two sets of mother-in-laws. What was it? And these two sets of mother-in-laws are yet common. There is a mother-in-law from the man's side and a mother-in-law from the woman's side. What was it? So there are two sets of mother-in-laws in our system. We also made it clear to us, say, Utiwe, you don't have a mother-in-law. There's nothing called mother-in-law to be. Yen fasa error ni fio. Say wuti we onwale. Afi na wo dwe ho ahwehwem. Awe kakra de aka na so akopɛ awade. Ese se na ti we yi obi awale we. Eye mi ahomete. Na so mehu se eya nyonko a wo fa ni ntia. Wo nyonkofo nyina ho ofe na so obi awale wo. Mu hi akwankyere. Woni se oba bia wuti yi asofo na wo ye mpema gro. Wa wale no. Eye wuti na ye yi. Yes. What is saying? Get be a year did amasi on shatia. Roman father be anyam any now. And no ye did. Namso yedi. It's the biggest privilege. Roman fathers be brew kroma. So that's it. And I make catch us on time shall wake and because you can say, oh, more bet me a cassa or bedroom here. Now, Obia, your baby mamma, dear Maclan and Cassa. It's wow, show me now Roman father anyam ubiano. It is a privilege. Now, remember, baby, I have to say, one being said, so far, the anointing on the pastor will go. Debbie, or baby, any assassin, so I'll bet my baby, a bit more so for the anointing. No, man, baby. Yes. Basabisa. Says an arty way. Says an arty way, software. Maybe a software, the master. Now, me know you have Pemagra, I'll bet myself anointed. Now, wouldn't there be anointed? Yeah, that down. And to get bit we quite sorry. Well, what you sorry them no. Therefore, say me no way fat to. Me we wo prayer room and say me start sorry. Obi anya kata me bia say we yedru. I say you say and pema grow na me no ye no e be block it the opportunity. No. There is no man of God who operates with themselves. They operate by God. E ye dinsifo na ma ye wa chiwa de. What I say? Yes, you did mu kokwa. Yes, any ye bosomsom need the lesser God worship. But se ko ba ne pass ma make ye di nkomo pass e yo bi anyame afre no na anointing wono so a one wo da wo ye nchinika wa yiram enti mu asofo awe mu a me te say obi say last week December we ye election na omo video so me pie asofo awe girls bi girl bi a wani won bia no a privilege for you to have a sexual intercourse with a man of God Emma wine Emma mon osofo no ene ana wo di ye na sofo no wo da e ho ani ngua se what you so for the water? Because a prayer warrior so. Me for one can say, I say, me, I'm a tear crane so actually, so by December, Mario, and your privilege. Oh, Nancy, who can say, to say, Nancy, when no chess and where come shine, I say, oh, yeah, so say, try to police station. Me customer repute. Me can't Mero. And see, the to make. Oh, make. Oh, what? And for we campaign time, what I can. That's that campaign. I mean, we here. Say a power coffee. I never find a car. I go on the car. I find a meal. I mean, I can't tell myself what campaign 3 days. Up here, but you have for 3 days. One be sure. Oh, Nami. Make a what say? Nami. That's all. Be here. Be on the share here. I Nami. Make I say. If you have to make to explain. There are things you don't have to explain. What does it? Susie, anything I'm going to say. Or yeah, now can all explain it. No, I say no. One thing to more record. And this I cannot perform show with TV. So say I have just caught you alive. What I say? And the can say only mother-in-law. And the reason why I'm emphasizing is say you want conform men woman being said they have mother-in-laws. You don't have a mother-in-law. Yeah, can say the only way you get a mother-in-law is when the man decides to do what marry you. So once marriage comes in, now you have an in-law. You see the difference here? Now, that particular in-lawship near the incomo can say, bear me chief for any or bear chief for. Yeah, or bear chief for and in-laws, no, they are very, very, very supportive to the marriage. They help the marriage to work. I also said, when it comes to the man's in-laws, like me, my in-law, They compete with my wife. So they are not in to make the marriage work, but to make sure that we compete with you. These are the issues we discussed last week. And I made it clear, say, if you go and live with your mother-in-law as a visitor, you should have a timetable and go in here with you, mommy. Because if you go and live with your mother-in-law as a co-tenant in the house, you will never have your peace of mind. That is why you see that your mother-in-law is a witch. She becomes a witch because you are interfering in her privacy. There is no bad mother-in-law on earth. But they become bad because, hear me, and this statement will not go polite for people, but let me say it. Dear, are you aware that grandchildren of your mother-in-law are more important than you, a daughter-in-law? Me can you say what way? Me ma me waro na me wu me no wo a me ma me no omo me ne wa wo no omo hu hia me ma me no se wo me nipa no de ti about the sal enti se wo kosra me ma me no wo mu fie a now de ye ma ne ko a ye ma no e wo anije ene ahotom e wo yi me ma me mu fie se wo a wa ba no enti se wo ne wa se ba ti fie a enye se wa besra wo a now so when now you two you are going to suffer for the rest of your life. What you need to do is to listen to this conversation and manage yourself. Don't see yourself as a daughter. Never. Never. If you are watching me, you will suffer when you see yourself as a daughter to your mother-in-law. Say, oh, shame pana, oh, to say, we talk, oh, kunu, Emma, membano, what toswa, who bet bread so ye. And see, who say, what say, eh, oh, mammy, men you be that on your mammy. And a man found him to some of Shani Bano. Say, who call what you now was a bar, ewa maba. Send on your motiano. Men, you when you saw who say, one saw no one test her. It is not by prayer. And you break and tie, Debbie. Once you become a daughter-in-law, the mother-in-law is not your mother. Most of you are expecting too much from your mother-in-law. That is why you think they are witches and wizards. That is why you think they are bad people. But unfortunately for you, when your mother-in-law visits you, she will now experience the daughter-in-law relationship because say it is not the same like ukosrawa. A man who marries you and takes you to go and live with the mother and the father is a wicked man. He's a wicked man. Obviously, last week I said that thing you said you shouldn't say it. It's a repeating. Say bear man pan who na children. Yes, if I said no children, and Mary came to say no children kakra. Nipa who children we are seeing. No, say situations are bad. So I think that we should just go and spend some few months in my mom's place so that I get a place to do. Girl, listen to me. When a man tells you let's go and live with my parents so that I can be able to maneuver and do ABC, the best for you to do rather is for you to go and live with your parents while your husband is doing one or two things. So when your mother-in-law got now, one, you are there as a guest and must be served by your mother-in-law. What I say? But unfortunately for us, when we go, we rather go and serve in that house. Unye fikesi mo abawa. Unye fikesi mo abawa. Se ukosra won se unuma. Ese se won se unuma ya den. Almost somo. They need to serve you. Adi be chia no pano. Ese akola owo mu ofie or your daughter-in-law or your sister-in-law. Or the issue is you maso be dwane. That's why the opposite. Immediately they get you in your husband's family house, they think they have got a new maid servant to come and serve. No way. When they come to you, you will serve them. But when you go to them, they are supposed to serve you. But the reason why you and your mother-in-law are not fine and things are not happening is because you are married to a vegetable called a husband. Because if your husband understands your position in his life, as a wife and has brought you by virtue of circumstances to their house, he will control the way the mother and the sisters talk to you. What was it? Because we talk about in-law, no? You are in-law because of marriage. So who controls you between you and your mother? It is your husband who does so. But unfortunately for us in the world we live in, say Bema do ko tena mami fear or per se wo tena sise na be ade mami beti wase ntino ni aya wo abawa, you become a maid servant for your mother-in-law. It's a curse. So most women who have lived with their mother-in-laws and finally they are going to build a house to live in. Right now they are living in their own house, but they are behaving just like their mother-in-law. Watch me. Never allow your mother-in-law to take a facial wrinkles on your face. Mema uma ukunu mami and ma monchum say when ya abrewa no dane wo so abrewa. Because it's easy. Who sure baby and then kama de bia osre. Asem si ya okotena na asifie. Who de bia na ma monchum. Ti say wa ya abrewa.
In the counselor, in situations like that, ebia na hochira ba, ye ni baby akọ, ebia na ejuma kakra be ma no mpo ensa esom sisia no e won kran ha me puna busuafo e wo tamale tashiman mini obia ono so ni obia se se be nde he na betima
o se ade e wo mu ni se ye bisa ye ho se asem bi ani ho a esim profin mu ana I can say wotwi no
e bitimi simple
ebi ne den bobi din
ye fa ne
say example kese bi
natural disaster
mo lose election ade and go for some schools yes here go
natural disaster be to say be a fire outbreak
ayede ashibufi na do mama baby ada
counselor na go mama baby da for how long
no there's a policy you be bo be na aboafo we nya aboafo enu ya aboafo bi ani say
o de ye fa ne say si na go mu aye no be 2 months 3 months was say yanka say pe baby ti because if you are feeling comfortable, maybe I will be antuntum being quara, bre any idea, and just say, never be one man naturally is to see. Shall more cocoa, a mudo musica could see a man's gold.
Some never saw
bank,
bank
situation be a buy.
I was in do, I went to buy election in you. Oh, and yeah, the mamma mia. And was a bank, see a buy. Na obi ohonma obi odi ne dan na ko si awowa obi ko ye say no situation no enye e wo so san ko ni nchi o ko ni nchi nso a ne nso no e no no mo kotena and so no say wo no kru ho na asemasi na per the situation on the ground the only surviving place is the mother's house. You know it's a situational thing. How feasible is it for your husband to change situations quickly and bring you back to normal? If not like your former days, something closer. But my case is to say, you remember a situation where okay, I see. They have relaxed. They are happy with their mother. Mommy, then there's no way I'll go and live with my mother and be sad. But I am sad in my mother's house because my wife is not happy. But you see men who say that you are becoming something too much. What is my mother doing to you? Again. And out of almost every week, yeah, meeting. Every week there's a meeting between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law.
Counselor, you started in Conway last week, and Obi message me, messenger, Facebook, and Oka say, or how can crab by, and now it was say, or much me pay a send ya cano, now. So no and it was so much now. On a lifetime in Anno, and yes, all my shadow so. When marry a dry subby, I put to be brave one more a beer, a dry be a wild one, till dry an hour pump him, a dahony bino, in sort of run a bone.
Tell about it.
Sir, Neman, or ye be that. Subby won't quite Janaya,
KVIP. See it going.
Edda, a ban son was say, Ontimi nko, into mommy uncle, or no nebusia for Nanko Mungo Peche Kakra, na good times neba, Baba for passing room info, at Sanya Yakenya, Beman is watching him. A quack of fast, Abba.
As some in the first place, when a man is supposed to provide shelter for you, befitting status, not the mother's house, because a man will leave the father and mother and become one with the wife. So at the end of the day, Bema Walewa, he should make provision for where the woman is going to live. It's part of the marriage plan. So BBSC, circumstances beyond his control. Now see you move now I said you are taking a visitor to your house. When you are expecting a visitor, you do preparations. What I say? Me whatever. Yo minimum chiwa de minim nyama wuchi a wompe enti se me no go tena me papa mu fie na me papa mu de o ma yusu KVIP sa enti o mu nim se na ye koto so man ka sa sorry na nchiro new town ha Accra new town man ka nchiro da oh ana me fa na me ka chiro girl yi wale na o wale o mu fie wo new town those days no ne papa fie pe na ya fie ya fancy a flashing toilet wo mu then those wo new town go new town ni kokomle de the twini bi the so ani bi enti owale guy the guy ni be rented to nice chamber hall e wo ATTC area ho so ye twe e ko hwiegu what must say enti guy ni o can say nice place but the man says ni man is sika be toilet amame then again see you no prince no worry but they agreed say they be an upon person me ko ba bi so a oni be fi kokomlemle aba new town ni papa fi no aba ye no yi enti bo ani je tumsa beginning of the marriage, it was clear. And the guy driving it to Saturday station was a great day. No, but Mufi no corner baby, no other parking. None of you are going to not be money to come. Oh, we about thank you, honey. Let's go. No, drive. Or nobody pay Jimmy. You pay Jimmy. Or drive the car. One day, get them so we put inside the yamshi. And Jomo Koyo, so more branchy. I feel it again.
Contract way there. I know a day.
I'm not driving the car, I'm going them. But I'm driving the car, see, can't see a mountain and check. And I will say, you'll be obligated to me in the or Kosha, Nasil, Bama, and a PA, almost some my in-law now. Why are you outside? Won't you come inside? I see, oh, my lady is just picking something and come. I see, oh, she's sitting down there. She says she's running. Why are you from town or something? Or who do you uncle? Onim da so de ne ba ho be ye ne hu ye de bi adopa enti ba ne sa o ye embarrass hu ndo ye na adwen o si fie ho no abawe bi ati obi a te se ne yire no obi akọ de ekoto so no se no ye obetuma tena so na wakoto so bia de na ye box no enti e se ne yire nso sua and no convincing is that there is no fearing you will not fall down it is not yes and again ne ji ni kunu tu enti afro mo court e fi no so a de o ye ne se one ne kọ no gina na nim na wa so ni nsem na ge ne te so. You won't fall. You won't fall. A compound house. Empty. Almost 30 years ago. Hey. Now you know what if you so I said you know I could go for. Oh, there be them and you went then they stop. And I feel the Obano would them one. No, you know who that if you. And you and so you're not any bomb come on. No crying same you won't fall. None you didn't when you're standing in front of me, I can't even push or see try and push. Now I know who yes, how much and also be a gate. Now when they open the door and come out, if you go see, hey, now for the member come back the one now. There are 2 toilets in the house. Yeah, chair my body, which way you see your bad. Now the people in the compound house are complaining. What is happening? Say. And the guy became so embarrassed. When you come out, the two of you, why the two of you going to the same toilet? What's happening? So I don't even know to me now. It became so embarrassing for the two of them because the challenge is that when you're going to marry a man, regardless of what can happen, check the background properly. Ni papa mu fie mu ko your engagement mu ko ha mu ko sra want if you don't know who ko junso wa you know your mother is a diabetic person small time no odunso bi si wo bukom small time ni mama junso keten ye ware ye ko fie oni mama junso de na won we and then mama say okay guys say I'm coming the girl I'm coming wait let me get something for you to we ye ko fa permit cream container by so junso go go hwe ngwa wanting ohun bi da bom de normal kaka wo shishi no skrororo you see what you have not learned is that Eti, Sauni Oba Ekotina Mami if you know say I can't use the KVIP. I can't see myself bathing and watching outside free range. I can't. Enya ho kire. Osi yankoni yankotina mi mame ho. It's a sensible statement to do. Because when a man goes to live with the woman's mother or the woman's family, you become a hero for their family and you are celebrated. But on the cell, they will destroy the day I treat the other side. No. When a man goes to live with the in-law above a certain time, they destroy your future. Because they make you feel so comfortable to the extent that you can't do anything. So you shouldn't say the girl is about a year with the friends or channel. No, she's expressing a genuine view. Samson will be so covered with taking one. Like it's a 4-bedroom house with 1 toilet. And yet modern house at it. Modern house they see 1 toilet in 1 room, but where one. And I said my mother-in-law get she's supposed to clock very early in the morning. Or sorry, no pa. No, because washroom are going to year. Only the mother-in-law she home. And a first day no no boy. Oh boy, yeah, and top. The mother-in-law see or no shed or she baby so. Now Uboma at Tico. When I'm in the loo and you knock the door, it cuts off. It doesn't come again. Manners should tell you that when you come and the door is closed, there's somebody there. And the girl is far again say, or sorry, no pa. Or maybe you want them more than when you were. So this is the inconvenience. And the mother-in-law at times will not feel to go to toilet, but you know what she will do? Just to prove to the daughter-in-law that this house is mine. So I'm saying that when you want to manage your mother-in-law, learn to know where is your mother-in-law before you can manage her. If your mother-in-law is in a house and you go there as a visitor, your management is different. There you have to manage yourself. This is the lesson. If you go and visit your mother-in-law by virtue of circumstance, and that is why you are sleeping there, you are staying there for the rest of your life, you don't manage your mother-in-law, but you manage yourself. How do you manage yourself is what I'm doing to do before you open your door. Last week, you paid your way. What did they near politics and agrophobic? And I say, move phone. I say, I catch on say the line is spot. Yeah, we say, we need technicians. And a different story. We should be names out. Mamike, you learn how to manage yourself. And you are managing yourself because of the position when you go and live with them. The first thing you need to do is that we've said it already. Let me repeat. Don't see yourself as a daughter for your mother-in-law. Men kasa ukane mano. And you treat me like your daughter, I'll respect you like your daughter. No, you are not. Number 2, don't operate with your mother-in-law direct. Operate through your husband. Because one to be a sin say, and Kwalana de buy your mother-in-law loves in Kwalana Wawono. And I did that to her, and I'm a won Kwalamam. And to what Danny will be when ya just say my own Kwalamam. Now me, I won't Kwalani there, won't find me Yashi, many men Mabako on mark or your baby and Niba. Or baby and Niba. What must say? Number 2. Say, if you need a casino or one sitting room, remember that you can't entertain visitors in the house. You can entertain your husband's visitors. But you, Mamike, in that house, you cannot entertain visitors. Why? Because visitors are welcome in the living room. And then, yes, sir. Unya ho wona ni omo tire bia na se. Na ma for man go inside e asem.
Yeah, obi be so na direct na bontin.
E asem. Den na pesa o ka kire nipa na wa ba no. Say ye widi for ofie ha. Ana ye ni sitting room papa ye tene mu anadan. What must say? And a sitting room never no. Hey, mommy, can say me when you go and meet a house help in your mother-in-law's house, the house help is more important than you, the daughter-in-law. Because the house help, no, or your mother-in-law, Eddie Camp, or no buano. But who are banu? And you cannot say, we be house help or fear crano, or mother-in-law to the Nekasawa about tremu. Your mother-in-law speaks to the daughter-in-law in a nice way. But when it comes to you, he speaks loosely to you as if you are nothing before her. Yes, because you are invading her privacy. Your mother-in-law is in the husband's house. So, operate through your husband. Point number 3. Watch it here. You cannot go and be cooking your own food in your mother-in-law's house. Let that thing. Because some of you are fighting your mother-in-laws in their kitchen. Remember, this is not your kitchen. It is not your kitchen. But you have gone now to divide your mother-in-law's kitchen. How do you divide it? With the silver, a shell left. Oh, but no do free. What got to fridge? Ever see mother-in-law here? Kitchen, you woman sink. I mean, you come and you should learn how to manage yourself. And you didn't ever see. What about you fear on? And your mother-in-law ben one and now baby. What does it? Ediani a wo do mother-in-law, mother-in-law bed no of you ama mbano enu bi na you because you are a visitor. But the only time you have the opportunity to cook. So listen to me. When you go and live in your mother-in-law's house with your husband, your responsibility as a wife goes off, except nocturnal activities. And Pema grow up in a coso. And no person are careful. And so your baby at home by you can be stopped because you have become a nuisance to the family. I remember a young lady, 11 months. The man was after after 11 months, they've not been able to have sexual intercourse. And the man was clear with it because the mother-in-law came around. They were in their house. And the mother-in-law of the woman came to see the baby. But for 11 months, they were not able to have sexual intercourse. And the man says the reason is that the woman is very loud when she's getting to her orgasm. And everybody around can hear. So the man is afraid, say, that the mother will hear her screaming and will come and knock the door. So told the wife, we should be able to do a getaway so that we can get my tea and everything. The woman didn't agree. That's how the case came to me because of your noise. So it's likely that your sexual nuisance can be a burden in the house. One day your mother-in-law will come and knock your door and say, well, please, we are sleeping. Me and my husband, we have lived in this house for so many years. I've never heard any woman making noise like this during bedtime. So be careful. One say, yeah, you are waking up early in the morning, but you can't come out of the room. Because when you come out, you need to do official greeting, non-official greeting. Now, your breakfast will be taken only when you know that your mother-in-law has taken their breakfast. And if you are living with a very irresponsible, vegetable husband, he thinks that he's living with the mother and father, so he doesn't supply things to the house. You see one of the painful things. I say operate through your husband. But here's the case. He doesn't buy Milo to the house. Milk on top. Samna on top. Paste on top. So you end up becoming a burden to the family because you are using the things that your father-in-law is buying for the wife. Operate through your husband is the next point. It means that know the type of husband you are getting married to before you move to somebody's house. So managing your mother-in-law, the first part is that if you go and live with them, you don't manage your mother-in-law, you manage what? Yourself. You are not a daughter.
Counselor, Mamifa phone lines into na after for into me and room. And come on, ye to me abemubi who experience be able to me a share. Saying and I want your mother-in-law, my uncle Fano, a city, the apostle come and Ibiana, and answer a near, old fossil, and don't want shame be. And I was there when your mother-in-law, more trade direct. And as a man son Edamontem number near 050 150 3062 050 150 3062 and as a 050 150 3063 050 150 3063 ube to me afre na waba money so afre for waba ma so me watche emu akwaba ehin e na ofre afri Mesra ofra me a lower o TV volume no one lower na ye be you free amoma ne so na tie me ofra for aba amoma so me moache emo akwa aba e fra osai na ukasa free okay Mesra se ofra entie wo hu
otie de yi no tise se yi nkrofo fi MP no Monsignor said, Nipa ye roads are and be unto Abama. Why no fit? Can I yet? And go for your mass fat.
Counselor. Mesro, if you counselor, so far and just concentrating on phone so now you're communicating. Offer for about my soul. I'm watching. Your first sign I can free him. Okay. Your first thing. Gloria, me patrol who experience be up say, oh my you.
Me patrol experience and this me one say. Me patrol experience and this me one say. Our phone we say me and kata. Who call kitchen now what you me again? What to me TV now I do? What I say now to me TV. Wow. Then to get to this you all for na see anya dey work kitchen na. Or see on the na dey na ask you anya dey na ɛno di ntɔkwaba ɛde sɛ wate nua de no ti bi na woka kyerɛ no ti bi na wode ɛnyɛ bɔne ɔntumi kubu ne ba saa na ɔntumi kubu wo nso wate na
yo yeah that's it aye
baby ogina no yɛ different o
aye baby onam here
because wase ba no aduane ɛsɛ oti bi di no baby o wo yɛ hɔwɔ what must you on thank you inam ka say aduane yɛ nwa wo fie hɔ you are a guest o eti ko ti bi di said then a different thing em say baby o no kan say wase ba betena hɔ meka just wase ba betena hɔ no ɔdua aduane
wa wadi masomra ofrefo aba homa so memo akyen ya frost na akasa free yeah good morning ya frost na akasa free
good morning your friend is
strong man me pacho dia na opesa wo ka e wo show yi so
I want to ask council which angle is it from because I don't get him at all we don't get him.
Okay.
If you want us to get him, you should let money very specific. This is what I need.
Okay.
You don't get what you need.
You
seriously.
Which aspect now want to ask you?
Good question. You see, he too, I didn't get him. If you want me to get him, it should be specific. These are the people who vote against. You campaign. Campaign. I'm going direct. Campaign times are over. President, no more campaign. Let's be one and build a vision.
Afraid for about so. I'm watching your first and I'll cast a free. Okay. Your first thing.
Your friend Mohammed.
Mohammed, what dream?
Imagine we do get Sadia Lisa. We are one. We do. I want to see him now. One year behind. We continue at the other picture there. I don't get. That's fine.
Wrong one.
Wrong. And if we're not to make sure every 2 days to be 3 days to be here. It's a woman who is so not with money.
You. Alaji made us say. Alaji say wrong. To me, go be free.
Hola, you are a visitor.
Counselor, Mrs. Esther Adachi, or share your Facebook.
Wawale.
Mrs.
And I'm to Wawale.
Nadina, my boy, and who baby.
I'm so buy Adachi.
Debbie, Mrs. Esther Adachi.
Who I hear it?
I Esther Adachi. We don't know.
Me who you put that.
You want a papa.
Or your bar.
I'm a farmer, no. Also, or show.
Okay.
Now that's so any chere.
Medana sense to say or show me why. Oh, team ye.
Or for about muscle, memoache, your frost and now cast a free. Okay. I talk as a mammy.
Such a better after business. Oh, yeah, you found. You said, well, coming and I said, or Casama.
Enti one casadia na wetria e dia friends am counselor kan yi.
No so we problem we about me no na try for 2 years now. Me no mama buy and that was lockdown we ma. Oba no jadi ku almost 2 years we na student. Sister me no that me no about that because of my because of me do that we put them Mama de la copa de ma for and to say on collateral. To collateral is
no correct. Na maybe so. Oba no oye no ho ade.
Any problem no na me
papa. Actually, anopay. Nyame show.
And I do be baba twem pro we na de ko ade wo na bon be no why. And say asphalt, why asphalt? Yeah, and to am.
Say no problem.
Say ti me mo ha no say ni na se ba na nye correct. Na se ba, wa se ba obuyiri ma me bes. Enti oni asew. Enti koma ye di no, me mo fa ne de ne be yen fatom. He doesn't have a mother-in-law. Enti afilo be wari oba. Aha. Oni oba wo mba me enti ye nye den.
Ye wo musa ba ma mi nso. Obeye timi awo miensa wa ha die enkaka Now, more prequel.
There be ma ebusuana again and dom nanim be. What's a tio? You see, Oba, and you my bema no yen one, they will boom quasia, will boom son quasia, quasia, means saying, on about quasia, so I'm not just over when I didn't quasia bonsa, until batting climb. And now Batica, Swanny bear may be a onion, one in a woman and son. Now I bet Thomas of an answer say, quite one, the bushano will do no bemen.
Offer for about my soul, my chain, your frost and I'll cast a free.
But your friend is
Okay.
but so now Mr. You can say, tell me, okay, no, you want me to keep a different room.
Okay.
Problem now.
Room need to say 4-bedroom house, 1 toilet.
That be a home.
2-bedroom.
Separate.
1 compound.
Yes.
We remember. Far high. Not high down. Yes. Me say, baby, anyone in us about now. One person has to buy a bed for that because you are invading their privacy. You see, that's where the challenge is. Now, make us say, there are 2 sets. Next week, you can't the other set now. Once you go and visit them, now you are invade. Mother-in-law. Once worry obi ba bear man. Na say no ma me nanyi. Menopause na tu ba bia be so yi unu fugo. Menopause no to bia muna. Menopause to be say o sen haya o ya. Ento ti what you see. Ti say MP we lose the seat.
Kasa yan kwa masomra. Offer for about maso. Memwache. Ya for saying now kasa free. Eben. Okay. Mr. Okasa.
Mother-in-law, the of course, from now or before, or the house. In this, we would you be out there? What mother-in-law, maybe, and the we there, before. O mother-in-law, be on one. Ube even by you the coon, but I walk over before, or the house. We shouldn't even say the agreeing in our mother-in-law. Who play pass when blue part of before, and the house. What I said.
Aye, Eben, now, oh, mother-in-law, what to saying?
Well, Eben, your kind say, oh yeah, down before me to say. But the 4th point I make come and say, don't make your mother-in-law your friend. Never.
On your classmate.
Never.
On your side.
Look, let her be your mother-in-law. On your narrating friend. You ever now telling novella?
Now we'll come soon.
There be more telling novella. Now we won't come on. Only let her come back. Maton to ma sisi asimache. Hey! And I mean, the mother-in-law see only baba want me and who bada. And in bed down one time no or so. Oh yeah, coconia so. A coconia so say bro.
How's I'm going masumra? Offer for about maso. Me watching a frost and I can free. Okay, my give me so. Me patro tie show no opon a or the number beto dwa. Na Maggie, Auntie Maggie. Mr. Wo show yi aside counselor open asem no. What me asua bibi e de afri mu de. Yo mate ene ye pon a counselor the number beto dwa no atro. Na woni na di nkomo.
Atuma give power some what? No one come here. Why? Eh, man, come on, tell him we are see a day. The pie day. I am bloody. Empinel lose. And that's for Empinel lose. We're Virginia asphalt. Yeah, go ahead, no. So you should know that managing your mother-in-law is the position of where your mother-in-law is. Wife, I will share me, if your husband cannot control the house you are in, he is not a husband, he's a male. If you marry a male, he allows the mother to maltreat you. But when you marry a man, he understands understands that he needs to be a husband to you. The mechanic say, our dear Yawari Bema, or your male, when you are better than a man. Honey, and you'll be no bitch sending message. Say, she doesn't know why women are not comfortable. They don't want to have a relationship with a man who is living with the mother. But they are ready to have a relationship with a man who has a wife. Musa won't post now. Obi sending post to me or say, she doesn't understand why women are not comfortable. They don't want to have a relationship with a man who is living with the mother. But they are comfortable to have a relationship with a man who is living with the wife, who is married. Let me tell you, to date a married man is more blessed than to live with the man in the mother's house. Like the guy said, young man watching me, you want to get married. Your father's house has a big plot. So you have decided to start a chamber and hall on the same compound. I beg you, do it. When you finish, rent it out and go for a single room in Agbogbosi market. Live with your wife.
Hey, Joe.
I better say, oh no, you need to jump kiosk. Send your name back now. Oh, mommy, fear. And I'm the papa. Me mommy quantity. Me papa who jam mommy. If you see if you can see, and to me anything, the fact is that oh, you need to be sitting in sitting room. Dining table is young for 13 at now. Oh, you need to be now. Now, so they be an apostle of a paso. Your wife sweeps the sitting room, cleans the television, mops the floor, scraps the bathroom, does everything, but she cannot use it. Think about your wife. Before you say that your mother-in-law is not me, and I'm just because you are the son. Wives, I beg you, don't insult your mother-in-law. No matter how wicked your mother-in-law is, me say, manage yourself if you are living with your mother-in-law in her house. Not in your house. In your house, you don't manage yourself. Next week, I'll teach you in your house how to manage a difficult mother-in-law. But right now that you are living in a house, manage yourself. Shawano anarika, I'm going to say. Tuwano narika. Politics ya be, and then as we see, a kasi and can the mother-in-law bonus. Your boy, baby. Why did it?
No, go ahead,
Said they did a involuntary.
but send your wow can you know what the new fee.
To be, you see, and you can't. Last you go be so about your mother-in-law saying you more body equity. No, you can't play music in the house. They can knock your door and tell you, Mami K, my TV number of phone. Da ada. Hey, meaning net no go tan. What we dress my mother-in-law for us and now call him Mami K. Oh, you want shamu? Oh, shall wait the PFR. If you can see what I know, me, no papa only lawyer professor neutral. Now, people say, if you say, I should say, only so we in Massey. Oba, so what they are corner costs our tabia. Hear me. Manage yourself and not your mother-in-law when you are living with her as a tenant or a guest. Write the number down. And you before Christ. O mother-in-law before the picture call so for the next to a bomb pie man. Once said net, once such now. Time us for the bomb pie more. The more or tumble more 0277 609 644. Miss Amber should be on 0277 609 644. Marry a man, not a male. If you are going through bad times, that is why you don't know where to live with your wife. It's better for you to go and live in your wife's house for some time with your wife than to bring your wife to your mother's house to live with her because the circumstances are bad. 0277 609 644. That's a ne. Mami K and Lydia. That's it. Hey, Mami K, answer na beko. Doris Dankwa. Miguel Bakwa Meshia. And right in the birthday. Your birthday party amano. Meshia no man many bonus. Or you prudential or insurance. And so insurance na me twa atom ye me no sisi atom mama pa me pege na sempa manage no ho pa your friend is that when my birthday na my birthday party on the 30th December.
Okay,
all of you, I'm inviting all of you. And remember invitation na birthday party na since we be advert amano
and you be an eba
no by invitation but
there'll be matters for
there be uncle you remember baby We want more men, less women. What must say? You ask me, and I'll send an invitation across. No more Facebook. Go be on Facebook. Be a party. What must say? By NCNC, no contribution. Go chop.
There is grandpa. On
one baby. Now the Katia and I can unqualify. And this when you no breast party.
Already a free.
The when you no breast party. When you no breast party, we a birthday party. Get I can ojina so na new food na so come na dia
so. Na asanto do best say adie no.
Obet ma be service. You be per service.
Okay.
You can.
Obet asanto bet ya be serve.
Obet ma be serve in so everywhere. What I say, no po your area be serve. Enye be bia.
Enye be bia.
You want be so ko party ni bi. Tro na ma ne down na me so one your invitation 0277 609 644. Orgasm conference yen yan kan ho asem. Afini ato aba na wi. The orgasm conference, my MFA special, everybody. Why? That's a part.
Ain't you no pay you didn't come out at the fad managing difficult mother-in-laws. And then you concentrate wo mother-in-law no ni fee and I say baby I would say wo wife no wakwa ye guest amano. And ya kasa wo kwa enye ho na do post so here. I never be one more no twitwa so. Manage wo na wuntimi nko manage mother-in-law no nti nyame adom a ebedi nkomo e de afa wo wife no o mother-in-law abestra wo fie nia obetumi aye ene nia ontumi enye aya yensua de yemfa futo yi entoto ya brabo ho na entimi moa ye esanse aware no a eguo no aya na pie no a efri management ya aya na intimi
monkey with them in chowa no kafra umrapia but obi asen me so see sometimes we start some things with them that we can't continue.
Yes.
Tio and yan wale wona na ye shower dey na se
ni free
uye nyame bia afia ontumi ntoaso akoma ma so say me fa twa ni ti
ontumi ntoaso so
what's we twa ni ti no ni mother in law nyina kosa no ko twa mu ti
100 Ghana
no chiama no
200
I feel jaipa se ba na sesa what must say ene me fancy ni tina we twa just e fata no more time depression and depression ko obe ni ti afido ni ti fu a
obe da sa ni hoko
sara se bes
enti mesra ye fa bintu ye ho fo why na emwa yen na ware no entimi enwie payo emfa emayen counselor George Cyril Luchot and Anope Yenino
your former MP.
Former MP. Say what sounds like a MP, so we didn't say better woman.
Yeah, the asphalt.
But who say me no? May a potential MP.
No, there's nothing about you that looks like an MP.
Oh, sir. Can't say better shock you.
No, you can't. Have you person MP that then don't marry now?
A better shock you.
No, when you marry, you can't. No, shocking there. It means say a grumu. I bet any MPP for future.
Hey, but I'm an MPP future candidate.
Na party ben na bejo.
Gum na be. Gum dead force. Yeah, better take you over 2020.
No. Don't waste your energy with these groups.
Oh.
If you want to have a future,
and I'm
follow the
independent.
Unya.
Menya.
O then enya wo feel like bridge it nya share count.
Share bio. Share menya.
That would be your watching the campaign. I don't just say who you can Charlie. Assembly woman crab and
yeah, Samo. In the yeah, did you make any see? Now, see, GTP. My child, yes, Shemi. GTP and to my papa new style. And made it counselor, a divine Adam style.
Oh, Jen no magic.
I know what I'm
Jen no magic. What I say?
Freemason 8 counselor Debbie.
Ade.
Freemason I mean.
Atadia no Jen no magic. Alo ana afofo. Tete me a friend ana afofo. What I say?
Me ni no. Enti GTP Adaroma, Saso and Spine Therapeutic Center. Election ye kokava ye enkente ha spine Adaroma enene me ho asisi me ho so na mababet na ha me de dwumade ebe somwo Magic Herbal Hospital and Spa. Wo machi akwan ewo Abeka La Paz free pipe eho ene obutuo ne efa apomden hu bia no wo bomodin ewo mu enutifo ni che won mo na wo hwe wapomodin ho nsem emfa emma wo na anopai no me a me de dwumade ebe somwo me din ene mame kunedu nyame adomo e be hia na me ka wo say obetumi ahia me ewo Facebook Mami KOPK ane Oko hwa obehu me sa so na Instagram so utimi follow me ewo mame_k_opk na yedi nkomo na niema etimi atwa so ewo ho no nyame adom a edoada ebehia
the only virgin in our TV. When you said the mechanic no credit, that's when you can be again a virgin. Mama and engine on Murafi. Again, or your celibacy. Why, ye be a jay into a media virgin. But I mean, shall say, wow, share me, I will see. Learn that this life we're living, in laws will forever be part of our lives when we marry. But we should learn how to manage ourselves when you are living as a guest in the house of your mother-in-law. I don't know what you're going through with your mother-in-law. Prayer doesn't solve it. Some of you have taken the pictures of your mother-in-law to church premises where prophets are prophesying on it and saying things. But I just want you to understand that it is better for you to live a life where you enjoy your life. A man who really, really, really is qualified for marriage will not in any way let you live with your mother-in-law in that house for the number of years because he's in trouble. DKM, God is love. Nam1, Pakistan Doom's money should not be the reason why your wife is suffering in your mother's house. Ladies and gentlemen, let a man be secured before he decides to marry you. 0277 609 644. If you live in any place that your MP lost because after doing road, be careful because the next day you wake up, he has come for his asphalt. But when they come for the asphalt, you go back to rough road. Ore, I mean, Shidamo. Mamu winning flag no one with so. TMA, may call 0277 609 644. Medamasi.